Hola, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos a un nuevo capítulo de Genshin Impact. Hace un montón que no juego Genshin Impact y hace un montón que no subo un capítulo, ¿no? Estuve ocupado con otras cosas y vamos a continuar subiendo capítulos de Genshin Impact sin un orden específico. Si toca historia y en este caso no toca historia. Tenemos que ir a buscar unas cosas. Busca esquirlas de mineral porque parece que hay una estafa acá en Liyue y tenemos que ir a buscar las cosas. Acá. Esquirlas de mineral, examinar. ¿Qué me dicen? A ver. Interesante mineral.
If my eyes don't deceive me, the cross sections and patterning suggest that these are Smaragdus nephrite shavings.
Nefrita.
Yes, it's not particularly rare, nor is it especially valuable.
Okay.
It's used to make jewelry all the time.
Se usa para
Said
hacer
that
joyas.
Smaragdus nephrite is in fact the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite, though no one's ever proven it.
Bueno, nosotros estamos buscando jadeita, Smaragd, eso, y esto es la capa exterior de eso que estamos buscando.
A thin layer of separation, huh?
If you must see for yourself, try examining these shavings for traces of elemental energy. Smaragdus nephrite is an entirely...
Is that so?
Okay.
Well, we might as well give elements. So, did you find anything?
No.
So they really are different. But wait, how come Jichao was able to tell what it was just by looking at the shards?
Increíble.
That's pretty awesome.
There's
Obvio.
nothing special to it.
De nada
It just so
especial,
happens
eso
that
es
I've come
que he
across
visto
a great
muchos de
many of
estos
these in my
minerales.
time.
¿Por qué si todo no se puede
These two
diferenciarlas?
stones actually look very similar. Someone without a deep understanding of them would find it very difficult to tell them apart. There may be only a subtle difference for the casual
Puede que
viewer, but that translates to
solo
an
hace una pequeña
astronomical difference
diferencia.
in terms of the market price.
Okay.
And I'm sure a significant difference in the cost of having them carved into shape.
All right,
Okay.
let's focus up. We're going off on a tangent.
But never mind Shirto.
Es rabogada la mina.
Why would Mr. Crossell...
Unusual actions have unusual reasons behind them. Let's take some of these shavings back.
Ok. Shito, mírame esto, por favor.
Miss Yenfei? Might I be so bold?
If you could just confirm for me once more, sir. Mr. Crossell did indeed claim that the ore he brought to your store was in fact Smaragdus jadeite, did he not?
Yes, that's right. I still have a record of the job with me, in fact. Here. It says quite clearly, one chunk Smaragdus jadeite, uncut.
Nah, una
Then I
estafa.
have no further questions. But could I borrow the processing record and...
Of course. But might I ask why you need them?
Oh, I have my reasons. Ah, yes. Please sign here on this affidavit. This document shall serve as signed proof that these stone shavings originated from the, ore that Mr. Crossell brought to your store. Please read it
Okay.
carefully.
Bueno,
Yes, I see. Forgive me for asking again,
Pero-
Miss Yenfei. But might I know the nature of the incident on this occasion?
I wouldn't say there's been an incident. Just a minor issue.
With this hard evidence to back us up, Crossell won't dare try to deny what...
On the contrary, this is far from sufficient to build a case. We need to find something a little more compelling. If you want to make jewelry, you need a professional jewelsmith.
un
What do you
artesano.
think?
Mm,
Jewelry. Nope.
la cara.
Aha! Got it. Singxi. She often helps people to find a jewelsmith. Let's go pay her a visit.
Well, that
Okay.
was quick. How can you know so many people?
Because lots of people come to me for legal advice every day. As you know, Liyue Harbor is the city of contracts. And contracts, well, I should say laws, but the amendments made by the Tianquan to our laws are unnecessarily complicated. How can I put this? It just seems like they're hard. As such, legal
Claramente.
advisors like myself provide quite the popular
Son muy
service.
So you
populares, sí.
help them make sense of the law. But didn't you say that it's hard to understand and impossible to finish?
Yes, well, that's no obstacle because I've
Nadie
memorized
que-
all the legal codices.
No, el enfoque era el... primero porque todos los códigos legales. Opa.
Memorized? You sound surprised. Knowing the law inside out is a legal advisor's
Es
bread and
abogada,
butter, you
claro.
know?
Básicamente es abogada.
Oh, this has has nothing to do with being an adeptus. I just like reading things.
Solo me gusta leer, ok.
Casual tone.
Well, that's that then. Let's...
Ok, Shinsi. Voy a ir a buscar a Shinsi. 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 ¿Dónde está Shinsi? Para allá. Corre de Shangliang. Shinsi, ok. Ah, no, estaba más para acá, qué boludo. Ah, no, acá está. Acá. Chao, chao.
Oh,
Una-
Miss Yenfei, it's you. Has something happened? Did the client from last time,
Have no further trouble from then on? Yes, of course. I'm just here to ask you a few questions. Has a merchant by the name of Crossel asked you to put him in contact with a jewelsmith recently?
Krosel? Yes, I remember him. He's a merchant from Snezhnaya, no? Yes, he came to me with a chunk of something he called
Jaritos
Smaragdus
Maragos.
jadeite. The design of the hairpins that he gave me was quite intricate, so it took me some work to find someone who was up to the job. Eventually, I found an older jewelsmith who made them exactly according to his specifications. This order was on hold for a very long time, and only completed quite recently, which is why I remember it.
Doesn't seem like there's any evidence to be found
No
here.
parece que haya... No, que haya algo que sirva como
Miss
prueba.
Sinksy, I'd like for you to confirm for me once more. When Mr. Crossel commissioned you to find him a jewelsmith, did he or did he not assert that the material he presented to you that day was called...
Yes, I'm sure of it. The hairpins were made using many expensive materials, and the asking price was quite high, so we had to put this
Ministerio de
transaction on
Asuntos
record.
Civiles,
Mr.
qué quilombo.
Crossel wasn't very familiar with the necessary procedures, so I filed it on his behalf. I also kept a copy for my own records. See for yourself, the item is called Smaragdus jadeite twin phoenix pins. The inlaid gemstone is recorded as Smaragdus jadeite. The document even has the official seal of the ministry on it.
Thank you, Sinksy. Now, could you let me borrow this
Te lo
document?
está dando, pero tú...
Sure, it isn't serving much purpose here anyway. I take it then that there's been some more trouble?
Nothing you need to worry about, just a minor issue. I'll return your document as soon as I'm done with it. Thanks again.
Why is everyone's
Okay.
first reaction always to assume
Claro.
someone or something is in trouble?
I believe we have almost all the evidence we need. We just need to make one last trip. Let's go
Dr.
to the
Baizhu.
pharmacy to speak with Dr. Baizhu.
The weirdo with the snake around his neck? What do you want to speak to him for?
Because only he can provide an authoritative statement confirming that Smaragdus jadeite is harmful to the human body. Once we have this
Okay.
final piece of evidence in our hands,
Ok, tenemos que ir a ver... ¿Dónde estás? Para allá. Tengo que buscar a Baizhu. Corre Shangliang. Tuki. Tendremos que ir acá. No, para arriba, mira. Sí, está acá arriba, mira. Buenas. ¿Cómo les va? Baizhu. ¿Qué haces, Baizhu?
My, to what do I owe the pleasure?
Ah, me acuerdo de esto.
Though I'm afraid that if you're looking for our little Chi-Chi, she's out gathering herbs. And if it isn't Miss Yenfei as well, now that's an even rarer honor. What business brings you here, might I inquire? Some charlatans peddling ineffectual medicines again, no doubt?
no. I'm here this time to ask if you're familiar with Smaragdus jadeite.
Smaragdus jadeite? Why, yes, there is some information about it included in the 6th commentary on the 7 Mountain Treatises. The 7 Mountain Treatises states that this substance springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains, and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it.
Ok, no le puedes tocar porque
It is
cagaste.
abundant in elemental energy, so if someone without a vision is in contact with it for a prolonged period, best case scenario, they fall ill. Worst case scenario, they'll suffer great changes in personality, and their illness will only ever get worse.
Básicamente te morí.
Anyway, I'm sure you didn't come all this way just to chit-chat. Knowing you, Yanfei, and given the specific nature of your question, I suppose that you're about to ask me to write an official affidavit attesting to the pharmacy.
That is indeed the case. If you would be so kind, Dr. Baiju.
No trouble at all. It's just a single document. Won't take me a moment. I would mention, though, that you are not the only one who's developed a curiosity for Smaragdus Jadeite. But after I gave him my reply, his expression shifted to one of remarkable disappointment.
Ya, pues.
I wonder, Miss Yanfei, if your pressing business might be related to this Snezhnayan merchant?
Ah, you needn't concern yourself about that, Dr. Baiju. Thank you for penning us that document. I'll make sure to compensate you in due course.
You're too kind. Take care now.
Gracias.
That Baiju guy is as
Habla con
weird as
Cursor,
ever.
¿listo?
Is it just
Cada que
or does it
que te
feel
mira.
like he was fishing for something back there?
Dr. Baiju's always been like that. Well, we have the evidence we need. Let's go find Mr. Crossell.
Vamos. Escuchame, Russell Crowe. ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está? Ah, sí, está acá.
Miss Yanfei, have you finished your investigation? I trust you will now be in a position to assess the compensation due.
Yes, my investigation is indeed concluded. I can now provide a final figure for the amount payable.
Wonderful. Well then, please, could you do the honors, Miss Yanfei?
Of course. According to the stipulations of the contract, Mr. Crossell, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original transaction price in Mora.
10 veces el precio de la transacción original.
Sure. Wait, what? Me pay her? Surely there's been some kind of mistake, Miss Yanfei.
No.
Not at all. According to my investigations and the material evidence that we've gathered, the substance claimed to be Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid within the Smaragdus Jadeite twin phoenix pins that you rented out to Mr. Chow was, in fact, Smaragdus Nephrite. Now, the contract states very clearly that 10 times the price shall be paid should the article not be genuine. Accordingly, you are liable for this sum, which is payable to Mr. Chow in Mora.
Material evidence? What material evidence? Why, Miss Yanfei, you cannot frame me like this.
Sí que
I
puedo.
spent a huge sum to obtain that Smaragdus Jadeite, and yet you claim that the ore inlaid on the hairpins is somehow fake? I demand to see your evidence.
Bueno,
Indeed. Only a testimony from an expert witness involved in the processing of the ore can serve as an authoritative assessment of whether it is genuine. Traveler, please produce the evidence in question.
con gusto.
This is a
Toma.
processing record from the Jade Mystery, along with stone samples and an affidavit signed by the business owner, Chateau.
Seriously? Even the boss there couldn't differentiate between Smaragdus Jadeite and Smaragdus Nephrite. How does this prove anything? In any case, Smaragdus Nephrite is the outer layer of Smaragdus Jadeite. So I had him cut away the Nephrite, he returned the valuable Jadeite core to me, and some Nephrite samples remain in the store. What am I missing exactly?
That's an unsubstantiated belief.
Well, your claim that my ore is fake is just as unsubstantiated. And we are here to talk about evidence, aren't we?
Ugh. Looks like our first piece of evidence didn't convince him at all. Seems like he came prepared. What should
Ya
we
sé,
Hard
la verdad,
evidence, something legally binding. We have just the thing. Show him, Traveler.
Pruebas contundentes, algo legalmente vinculante.
This document proves that my hairpins are the real deal, doesn't it? This is the Ministry's seal, after all. It shows that the ore inlaid on the pins is indeed Smaragdus Jadeite.
No.
Our second piece of evidence didn't work either. And this guy's getting more.
You know, you could be right. Perhaps the hairpins are the real deal.
Of course I'm right. All the evidence shown supports my story.
Well, hang on a moment now, because I do recall one final piece of evidence that we have. Traveler, would you do the honors? This shall serve as decisive proof of our case.
What's this?
Smaragdus Jadeite springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. Sustained contact with Smaragdus jadeite over a prolonged period will, in less serious cases, cause a mild malady, while in serious cases, the patient may suffer a dramatic change of personality and fall seriously ill.
Claro, y la señora estaba completamente
Mr.
bien.
Crossell, were you aware of these peculiar properties of Smaragdus jadeite?
I had no idea.
No idea, you say? I'd guessed as much. But for you to have rented out such a dangerous item, I'm afraid that this falls outside the scope of
Fuera
my
de los
work,
límites de mi
but within
trabajo,
that
pero
of the
sí de los
Ministry of
Ministerios
Civil
de Asuntos
Affairs.
Civiles.
However, I'm sure
Sin
that
embargo,
the Ministry will be
ya que ignoraba el
relatively lenient
peligro,
considering that, as you say, you were ignorant of the danger you posed. Don't worry, Mr. Crossell. I will make sure that all the evidence presented here will be handed. I trust that you'll give them your full cooperation in their...
What? Wait! I knew.
Hijo de...
Oh, so you knew? Oh, dear Mr. Crossell. But if you knew of Smaragdus jadeite's dangerous properties beforehand, why would you...
Huh? No, The hairpins aren't actually...
Aren't actually inlaid with genuine Smaragdus jadeite? Is that what you were about to say?
Referir.
You do understand, Mr. Crossell, that this means that you will have to pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original price in Mora? Mr. Crossell, your answer, please. My client and I are waiting.
Mi cliente y yo, toma.
He's seriously intimidating right now. It's like she's a different person.
Es
I
abogada.
admit it. I confess. The ore I had inlaid on those hairpins was Smaragdus nephrite. But I'm a victim in all of this too. I invested a great deal of time and money into acquiring that small amount of Smaragdus jadeite in the hopes of turning it into a piece of jewelry that would fetch a fine price.
Compra y venta como pasa en todo lado.
After receiving it and carrying it around for a few days, I started to feel extreme discomfort. I couldn't sleep a wink or eat a single bite.
Okay.
I went to Boo Pharmacy to get myself checked out, only to discover that this sort of stone cannot be worn as jewelry. But how could I let all that money go to waste?
Como un oro,
That's why I had another pair of hairpins made from Smaragdus nephrite, which is almost indistinguishable from Smaragdus jadeite. I kept the real Smaragdus jadeite in a specially made box. I daren't touch it again. I was worried that someone would see through it, which is why I only dared to rent them out, not sell them. And then to top it all off, Jiqiao lost the hairpins after I rented them out to her.
Entonces pensaba defraudar a la señorita sin chao.
Exactly. If they weren't the real deal, why'd you make her pay so much?
I didn't want to either, but when I purchased that Smaragdus jadeite, some of my business partners found out. I knew they'd be watching closely to see how much I could make off it. If word got out that I sold a pair of fake hairpins, then my days in this line of business would be over.
All right, let's cut the appeals phase right there. I failed to see what bearing any of this has on your transaction with my client. According to the contract, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original price in Mora, and that...
10 times?
10 veces.
Crossell looks like he could faint any second.
Mal.
As for me, according to my contract with Mr. Chow, 20% of that sum will go to me.
20%? That's as much as I spent on that Smaragdus jadeite.
There's no need. It's fine. You don't have to pay me that much, Mora. Even if the Smaragdus jadeite on those hairpins was fake, I still bear responsibility for losing them. Legally or not, I think I owe some compensation for that.
Ms. Jiqiao, you...
However, Mr. Crossell, since you have no use for that chunk of Smaragdus jadeite, why don't you give it to me instead? I'll consider us even.
Buena.
What? But all right then. This cursed rock's brought me enough grief as it is.
Para lo pensado antes.
I'll turn the Smaragdus jadeite over to you. I trust that it will suffice as remuneration?
Well, that's not quite how the rules say this should go. But whatever, it'll do.
Thanks so much for your help this time, Miss Yunfei. When you have the time, I'll be sure to visit and express my thanks more appropriately.
Oh, come on. No need to stand on ceremony. Now, if I may confirm this again, Mr. Chow, have you and Mr. Crossell come to an understanding?
Well, yes, I believe we have.
Well then, that's good. Mr. Crossell, it seems that my client has no further claims against you.
Is that so? That's good. That's good.
Actually, Mr. Crossell, I'd like to talk business for a second if I may. I could see from the hairpins you produced that you're very skilled in jewelry design. My family, on the other hand, works in the ore business, and we have a fair stock of fine ores. If we could join forces, your jewelry designs and our choice ores, I think we could do some fine business between us.
Bien.
Let me think for a moment.
Sí, boludo, decirle que sí. No seas pajero.
Well, that's that. And we've got the Smaragdus Jadeite that Granny wants too. All's well that ends well, eh?
Sí, aunque nos encontramos con algún inconveniente en el proceso.
Exactly. Usually when someone tells us they've lost something, we end up searching all over the place for it. But this time, even though the solution didn't involve actually finding the hairpins.
The right solution depends on your perspective on the problem. The objective of my client, Mr. Chow, was to reduce her liability to pay compensation. So, rather than looking high and low for some hairpins, proving that the rented item was nowhere near worth what the vendor had claimed it to be was the more efficient solution. An Adeptus. Speaking of, you took part in that battle, didn't you? And Liyue Harbor is now a city ruled by humans.
Claro.
The title of Adeptus means precious little to me compared to my job as a legal advisor. In any case, don't you think that the Liyue Harbor of today needs legal consultancy far more than it needs adeptal powers?
Abogada, no sos asesora legal, sos abogada.
I can think of someone who would definitely disagree with your reasoning.
Eso tiene una reflexión
Well,
recién.
since we got what we came for, it's time to pay Granny a visit. I
Seguro
bet
que
she's been on
está...
tenterhooks for a while now.
Sí, vamos a ver a la vieja, boludo, de una vez. Informa a Madame Pig, ¿dónde estás? Arriba. Corre que te corre. Se cansó. Corre que te corre, se cansó. Tuki, 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 tuki. Seguí corriendo. Mierda, que está viejo. Está viejo. Está lejos la vieja. Se cansó de nuevo. A ver qué tal. Acá está. Se sube a la mesa. Qué desastre, se sube a la mesa.
You've returned. How did it go? Were you able to find the Smaragdus Jadeite? Good, good. Then we have all the materials we...
Well, if we're all set, Granny, I'll get going now. Got a ton of clients waiting for me back at the office.
Oh, you? All right, then. Go see to your business. Granny should be able...
I'm off then. Bye! Oh, yes, Traveler. Make sure you don't lose the business card I gave you. I've been looking into the laws of other nations as well. If you should ever bump into any trouble with the law, come find me directly. Regulars get discounts, too.
Oh,
Come now, child. Are you leaving or are you not? If you have no wish to leave, perhaps you'd like to help me clean
No,
my
gracias.
teapot.
I'm leaving! I'm leaving!
That child. Goodness knows where she learned to be so rambunctious. Her father was hardly so riotous or fond of talking nonsense back in the day when he stood beside Rex Lapis. Ah, indeed she is.
Pero era un
Liyue has
adeptus, ¿o no
changed,
era?
and the Adepti must also learn to change. Yanfei might be overly garrulous, but she is also the most intimately acquainted with the city among us all. Ah, Liyue is not the same place I once knew. All right then, let us speak of this no more. Back on topic.
Pequeño regalo.
I believe that I still owe you a little gift.
Oh, Paimon's so excited! How is it made?
It is but a single teapot. It shan't take long at all.
Él viendo que fue.
Oh, there
Oh.
we go. This
Relájate,
serenity
tera.
pot is all yours now. Hold it firmly. If you were to drop it, oh goodness, who knows what might happen. Take these blueprints with you as well. You'll need them if you wish to make your teapot a little more lively inside.
Bien.
Wait a minute, Granny. How exactly are we supposed to use this teapot?
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I've already arranged for a certain little helper to await you within this teapot. She will explain everything you need to know about it.
¿Cómo? Oh, relajatetera desbloqueada. Genial. El objetivo está en la rapidez allí para continuar la misión. Entra en la rajatetera. ¿Y cómo querés que...? Ah, tengo que entrar en la... Mantén pulsado para abrir la rueda de menú y ve el inventario. Ah, claro, la relajatetera está acá. Entrar. Ah, son todas misiones. ¿Qué es lo que dice el mundo interior? Sí. Oh. Opa. Wow.
Teapot seems even bigger inside than Madame Ping's. There's even a great big house in the middle too.
Sí, claramente.
But there's just a whole load of nothing around it.
Cada uno yo picaba unas piedras para construir una casa.
I can't
Exacto.
do that. Well, you're the one with the sword anyway. You do it.
Pero
Still, why is it so empty here apart from that house? Oh, wait a second. What is that?
ah, esta es la ayudante. Hola.
Wow, it seems that we have a visitor.
It's a huge finch.
Qué pinzón.
Excuse me, I am not a finch. I am a teapot spirit, and you may call me... hang on a moment. What am I supposed to be called again? Oh, call me. I suppose you may call me Tubby.
Chubby. Ese está bastante no.
So you're the little helper Madame Ping mentioned?
Madam Ping? Oh, you must mean Ping. Yes, she did summon me here. She told me much
Okay.
about you. You may leave all matters regarding the upkeep of this realm to me. Your
Okay.
journey may be far from over. But at least this way, you will not want for a comfortable place to sleep each night. Though it is the Adepti who create realms such as this, they generally do not have the time of day to attend to the banal matter of their maintenance.
Ajá.
Thus, we teapot spirits were created to help guard their realms and manage their affairs. You may
Oh.
consider me a butler, if you will.
Una mayordoma, claro.
Now, allow me to explain this realm to you. Have you any blueprints on you? Specifically, as long as you have a blueprint, you can
Blueprints?
No.
Oh,
Ah,
that's
sí.
right. Granny handed us someone.
Yes, these are the blueprints I'm talking about. Go on, just commit the image of the objects to
cosa de
memory
mover
and
el plan.
prepare them, then simply release.
Wow! Is that all it takes? Then we could build a whole city in...
I doubt it. A golden-eyed adeptus explained, he said, that even though subspace creation is a product of adeptal power, even that has its limits. This world is not a true one, after all. It provides merely a moment of brief respite from the mortal realm, not a means of escaping it entirely.
Un mundo de los sueños medio místico.
Adeptus? Paimon wonders who could that be?
I hardly remember myself. What's more, well, let's not dwell on that. Have a look around. If there's anything you would like to add.
Busca orden en la rajatetera. Una vez en el interior, podrás interactuar. Perfecto. Habla con el espíritu, puedes crear todo tipo de objetos. Los materiales necesarios para fabricar se pueden recolectar en el mundo abierto. Después de obtener un objeto, puedes usar la función de colocar para ponerlo en la posición que desees. Coloca decoraciones, bla bla
Is
bla.
there time for a quick snack?
Puedo
I'll
usar
whip one up in no time.
intramoras en sí, un sim medio místico. De vez en cuando un espíritu ambulante de la tetera vendrá a visitar tu mundo interior. Hay una probabilidad de que traiga consigo tesoros extraños. Ok, ah, claro, sí, te armas tu casita. Ok. Mantén pulsado para ver la rueda de menú y acceder a la interfaz del diseño. Ah, mira, para... Oh. Claro, acá tenés con un montón de cosas para hacer. Ok. Y bueno, nada, creo que bambú, escoge el botón de colocación X. Ok. Ah, claro, sí, básicamente te haces tu propio... Una casita, claro. Claro, una casita a girar. Vamos a ponerla acá, por último. Colocar, cancelar, girar en sentido antihorario. Ok. Coloca. Ok. ¿Y dónde está la casita? Oh, acá está la casita, mirá. Para forjar cosas, perfecto. Forjar. Para forjar cosas, perfecto. Actualizar Red Dead Redemption, buenísimo. Y bueno, nada, sí, comenzar. Claro, tengo un montón de cosas para poder hacer. Buenísimo. Bueno, perfecto. Vamos a dejar el capítulo hasta acá entonces y bueno, veremos en el próximo capítulo a ver qué hacemos. Por lo menos tenemos la cosa esta de las para hacer forjas y seguramente tenemos para hacer casas, para hacer un montón de cosas. Tenemos jardinería, relieve. Ah, mira, puedes poner árboles, perfecto. Vamos a poner un árbol por acá, porque si no, vamos a poner un árbol por ahí. Ahí va. Colocar y vamos a poner otro por acá, porque sí. ¿Qué más tenemos? Pinos, arbustos, edificios principales. ¿Qué es esto? Sí, es la casa anterior, pero bueno. Guardamos los cambios, pusimos estos árboles acá medio místicos y nada. Espero que el video te haya gustado y nos vemos en el próximo episodio random acá del Genshin Impact. Nos vemos, hasta luego.